It's time for Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.
Good Sunday morning to you. This is Karey Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and you're listening to Real Estate 101. Today I am with Abbey Brown, and she is the Brownstone of Topeka. Good morning, Abbey.
Good morning.
So let's talk about it. First off, where is it located?
So the Brownstone is located at 4020 Northwest 25th Street, up north.
Okay, and you guys just did your grand opening, on the 11th of June?
Yes, so just a few weeks ago, we had a great turnout from the community. It was just an open house. We've been under construction since 2015, and so a lot of folks from the community have been driving by wondering what in the world we're doing with this old barn that has a lot of history in Topeka, and so that was our opportunity to have an open house, invite all of the brides, all of the folks who have already booked events with us, show them the final product, and show the community as well.
2015.
Yeah, end of 2015. Wow. Yep. So in December 2015, we my family are the owners. So my parents, Connie and Steve Brown, and they purchased the venue in 2015 in December. And then the first 6 months, we did some foundation work. And then the rest of the time, we did the actual renovations of the interior of the barn and then added on to it as well.
Where would someone go out to see what the inside looks like?
Sure. So our Facebook page is up to date with the most recent photos, as well as you can see the entire progress. So we have original photos before we did any construction, and then we did construction shoots throughout. So you can see the living history of what we've been doing the last year, and then you can see the final photos as well. You can also find it on our website, thebrownstoneTopeka.com.
And your Facebook page, what should they look for?
If you just search for the Brownstone Topeka, it will pop up.
Okay. And how would they get a hold of you guys to book events?
Sure. We have a contact form on our website, thebrownstoneTopeka.com, or you can give us a call at 785-235-0057.
And I noticed that your email is events@thebrownstoneTopeka.com. Is that a good place also?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about the history of the Brownstone.
Definitely. So this barn has been around Topeka for 90 years. So it was built in 1927. Originally, it was designed by K-State architecture students who designed the original barn. And then William Baird was the gentleman who actually funded the barn and then ran a true dairy farm from the original barn. So it was a dairy barn for many years. And then they sold it to a family that made it into an antique shop. They remodeled the barn and built it actually into a family home and antique shop. And then from then, it was built into a bed and breakfast. So multiple families have used the bed and breakfast and ran it as a business. Most recently, Scott and Triana Nickel were the ones who had the Brickyard Barn Inn, where it has a lot of history. A lot of folks in the community knew it as the Brickyard Barn Inn. And then again, in 2015, Connie and Steve Brown purchased it to build it into the Brownstone.
So what would you say for a bride that hasn't been able to go out and look at it, what would you say would be the decor of the barn?
Of course. So our theme is rustic elegance. So when you walk in, you will see the 1927 barn. You see the original silo, you see the original wood post, but then you also see these hints of elegance. Brand new 5-foot chandelier, light fixtures, brand new bridal suites and groom lounges. And then we have a state-of-the-art technology and conference center in the basement as well. So lots of features. Our other favorite features are our outside spaces. So we have an outdoor backyard. That's a 40 by 60 patio. Great for ceremonies, great for additional space for reception. Also great for cocktail hours. We also have a sunken patio that's full limestone. It has a limestone fireplace, limestone built-in seating, limestone tabletops. It has speakers out there, so another great place for brides, grooms, and even businesses to utilize.
And how would they, again, real quick, schedule that with you guys? Are you scheduled out pretty far? What is your time frames that you have available typically?
Yeah, so we're booking out now. So, we're taking anything from 2019 weddings to still items in 2017 and 2018. So we book weddings, we wedding ceremonies as well as wedding receptions, business functions, Christmas parties, anniversary parties, quinceañeras, birthdays. I mean, you name it. We have a space that can help your family and the community celebrate.
Absolutely. And again, real quick, let's give them the information to get a hold of you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So our phone number is 785-235-0057. And our email address is events@thebrownstone.topeka.com. And then our website is thebrownstone.topeka.com.
So let's talk about, they're your parents, correct? Connie and Steve?
Correct. So they have a very interesting history, actually. So they met in grade school in Topeka, and they were friends and family friends all the way through grade school and high school. And then they ended up dating senior year of high school. And then they ended up going to K-State, and both going to K-State and got married right after college. So they both have a big tie to not only Topeka, but also the University of K-State as well. So they had their children, so myself, Abbey Brown, and then my brother, AJ Brown. And we grew up in Topeka, lived in Topeka, worked in Topeka throughout our high school, college years. So then in 2015, when the Brickyard Barn Inn went up for sale, my dad, Steve, actually owns Piping Contractors of Kansas, which is right across the street. So one of his offices was right across the street. So when he was driving by, he noticed that the Brickyard Barn went up for sale. And he knew a little bit of the history of the barn and was just intrigued by the silo. The barn itself is just structurally beautiful. And so he was thinking, possibly maybe we'll move our office over to the barn. And then when he started talking to Connie about it, we were in the middle of planning my wedding. And we started looking at venues in Topeka, and they're all gorgeous, all beautiful, but they were all booked. And so Topeka venues are in short supply, and all of them are great. And I was also looking for some outdoor space as well. And so I was just having a hard time finding something that we really, really loved. And so then they started talking about this barn, and maybe since it's been such a staple in the community, a lot of people have already gotten married there as a part of the Brickyard Barn Inn. They've had their anniversaries there. Maybe this was a really good idea or time to invest in this barn and give back to the community. It was in 2015 that they purchased it, and then they found out more of the history. So they even loved it that much more because it was built and designed by K-State students. They felt the tie to the venue. They felt the tie to the history. Also, when you go to the barn, there's a lot of limestone there. So they kind of brought in that K-State limestone back to the barn. A lot of the features are still the same. So when you go in there, the salt glazed brick, the silo, all of those features are original from the 1927 barn. So they fell in love with it, and then they purchased it, and then we did a lot of research before we actually did the reconstruction and the remodeling of the barn. So we went to a lot of different venues around the area as well as around the country to look and learn about how to restore a barn, also just how to make a venue functional. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on is we did a lot of research before we went into construction. So we talked to an architect. We talked about all the things we liked about venues, some struggles that we heard from interviewing vendors, interviewing, folks in the industry. And then he came back with a really great design. Another great part is my father's been in the construction industry for 30 years. So that has really helped with the construction because we knew a lot of folks. We had a lot of ties and connections to the construction industry. And so a lot of the people who did our construction are our friends or family or people that we have a great relationship with. So it brought in more of the community that way by having them help us with all of our construction.
Let's talk about the renovation. What all went into that?
Yeah, so when we went in, the barn was a functioning bed and breakfast. So it had rooms and tables, and it was a home. And so what we did was first we looked at the structure. We looked at the structure of a barn, of a 90-year-old barn. We were a little bit nervous about what kind of laid behind the walls. But once the architect came in and once we had people inspect it, truly the bones of the barn were great. We had to do a little bit of structural pieces, but honestly, the structure was phenomenal. So then we went in and we cleared out the walls. We cleared out the house portion and then really opened it up. So now when you walk in the front doors, you see a big, beautiful 2,400 square foot reception hall. So we've kept it all. Also, one of the big things is the silo. So it's really unique, not really to have a barn and a silo, but to have a barn and silo attached in a dairy barn. So it's a really unique feature, and we wanted to utilize it. It's a lot of space. So we actually opened it up and created it into our bar area. So that's where people can serve drinks. That's where people can look all the way up and see the top of the silo. It's a really unique feature for this building specifically. What we also did was we added on 2 wings to each side of the barn. So we added on a bridal lounge, actually 2 bridal lounges, an upper bridal lounge and a lower bridal lounge. The upper bridal lounge is for where folks can get ready for their wedding, right before they walk out for their ceremony, right before they walk out for their reception. The lower bridal lounge is where you can bring your makeup artist, your hairstylist. We have a full-length mirror with the Hollywood lighting, and so they can get ready there. We also have a groom's lounge that has a that has a buffet, TV, high-top bar tables, as well as a shower, because girls are getting ready all day long. Guys usually go and do some sort of activity. They golf, they fish, they hunt, and sometimes they forget that they have a wedding to go to at the end of the day.
So we have a shower would be a good idea.
Exactly. So we're just trying to help everyone involved. So, and then we also have we created in the basement portion, we created glassed-in conference rooms because we truly want to be a wedding venue, but we also want to help the businesses in the area as well have breakout or off-site meeting space. So we have a glass conference room that can fit 15 to 20 people, full AV equipment, chairs, seating, and so they have a space to also utilize and have meetings in. One of the unique features in the barn as well is our bullpen. So we actually kept one of the original bullpens. The basement of the dairy barn had 36 cow stalls and 2 bullpens when it was the functioning dairy barn. And so this bullpen has lived the entire renovations of the last 90 years. So we thought it was really important to keep it. And behind the bullpen, we actually have an entire history section. We're really blessed that we have that Scott and Trina kept a lot of the artifacts and a lot of the history, which is how they kind of passed down the knowledge to our family. We have the original blueprints for the barn. We have photos of them building the original structure. We have a photo of the gentleman who, made the investment to build the barn. We have the photos of it being the antique shop, of it being the bed and breakfast. And then we also have the renovation photos of the last renovation making it into the brownstone. So that way, if folks don't come for a personal tour to learn all the history, they can go down there and actually read and learn the cool space that they're in.
Absolutely. That just sounds so great. And it's so great that somebody took the time to make it into something that everybody could use. That's awesome. So let's talk about your first wedding. It's already done, right?
Yes. So our first wedding was held on June 3rd of this year. The beautiful bride and groom were phenomenal to work with. They actually were from Denver. So the groom originally was from Topeka. He grew up in Topeka, but then both of them moved out to Denver. They met each other in Denver and did the entire wedding planning process in Denver. And so they are actually family friends. And so they trusted us and they trusted in the venue and they could see our vision. And then they wanted to be the first wedding. They wanted to kind of be our kickoff. They wanted to be able to say that they were the first event in the Brownstone. And I will say it was the most phenomenal experience. It was a gorgeous day. It was beautiful bride, beautiful groom, and phenomenal family. And the wedding really went off without a hitch. It was a fantastic day.
Do you guys have coordinators to help with the events?
Yes. So each wedding will have an event coordinator assigned. And so the family will meet with the event coordinator 3 weeks before. And then they will give us their ideal timeline. They'll give us all of their vendor information, their exact timeline for the day. And then the coordinator will be there to help with the rehearsal. They'll be there to help with the day of and really be the point of contact for the entire event from start to finish. And they are able to help ease any nerves. They'll be able to help with all the technology. They are that go-to person.
You've been listening to Real Estate 101. We'll be right back after the word from our sponsors.
Southwest Topeka has a good neighbor. State Farm agent Jim Garrison, now at 29th and Urish. If your current insurance situation has you going around in circles, get off the roundabout and stop in and meet Jim and his wonderfully efficient staff. Let Jim Garrison give you a quote and make the Garrison comparison. He's confident that with State Farm's competitive rates, the right coverage, and his unmatched service, you'll want to make him your new insurance agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and Jim Garrison is there for you, northeast of the roundabout at 29th and Urish.
Thanks for listening to Real Estate 101. I'm Karey Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. And just in case you are wondering, right now we have a severe listing inventory shortage, actually across the country. I coach agents from the East Coast to the West Coast, and it's not just Topeka. And it is actually a little bit of everywhere. What I will say is if you are looking to sell, there is no better time. We're actually getting prices that we really didn't think we could in several areas. So now is really, truly the time. We have buyers that are renting places just simply because they cannot find what they're looking for. So if you've ever considered it, or if there's a price that you would consider, give us a call at 785-213-5188. We may very well have a buyer for you. You can also email us at preferredadvisorsteam@gmail.com, and our website is topecahomeadvisors.com. If you're looking to buy on our website, you can actually save your own searches, set up the criteria and everything. We also, as a team, do that for you. You are able to search anything that is on the Heartland, Lawrence, Topeka, and Kansas, Manhattan MLS. So you get all of Northeast Kansas into Missouri just by going to our website. And Zillow does not even offer that because some of those MLSs do not participate with Zillow. So be sure and check it out, topecahomeadvisors.com. And I am back with Abbey Brown from the Brownstone in Topeka. Abbey, tell them again where you're located and how to get a hold of you.
Sure. So our location is 4020 Northwest 25th Street. And you can give us a call at 785-235-0057. Or you can check us out on our website, thebrownstoneTopeka.com.
Before the break, we were talking about wedding coordination and all the different things that go into planning. Can they bring in their own decorations and things like that? How does all that work?
Yeah, definitely. So what we provide is we provide tables and chairs. So we provide both 8-foot banquet tables as well as 60-inch rounds. And we have 200 chairs that they can utilize. We also have 50 benches that can go outside for outdoor ceremonies or for just additional seating outside to utilize that space. And we have 5 cocktail tables that they can utilize. So we provide the tables and chairs, but then the bride is able to complete her vision. She can bring in any of the decorations that she'd like. She can bring any vendors that she would like. We do have a catering kitchen, but we do not have a caterer on staff. So they are available to bring in any of their own food. They can bring in any caterer that they'd like, or we also are open to food trucks, which is a new trend in the wedding scene. So they are able to do that. Also, all of the flowers they can bring in, as well as the photo booths. We have a mezzanine, so kind of a landing at the top of our venue, and that is a great place for bands or for DJs. It really gives a cool party feel down on the dance floor. So we have a lot of unique features that they can do. We also are working on the ability for them to do the streaming lights, so the party lights throughout the barn as well. So, I mean, they can have as many decorations as they would like, but the barn is also unique and beautiful in itself that they also don't have to.
And with Pinterest and things like that, it's just endless, the things that you could do.
There are endless possibilities. And the great thing about this barn is that it's rustic, but also elegant. So it has enough rustic charm so you feel like you're in a barn. But then also it is elegant enough that you can do anything and everything, and every bride's dream could kind of work in this space.
Graduation parties. I know people are already booking out for next year. I have a friend that works at the Shawnee County Parks and Recs, and she was like, if you're going to book, you better book it right now because I don't even think we have hardly any left. How is it working for you guys?
Yes. If you want any event, especially graduation parties, definitely give us a call, and we would love to schedule a tour and set you up for that. Because, yes, graduation parties are a great idea for this space. Actually, our first event was a graduation party. So our first wedding, as we mentioned, was June 3rd. But before that, as kind of a soft opening, one of our family friends held their daughter's graduation party there. And it was great. Family and friends were coming along. Actually, I think she had a couple extra people show up because they thought it was the grand opening. So we had a few folks showing up, walking around, eating cookies, and then realizing it was the graduation party. So
instead of wedding crashers, they were graduation crashers.
Exactly. But she had a great time. It worked wonderful because we had the outdoor-indoor space, so all the kiddos running around could go hang out outside, play games, but then enough people could come in and utilize the space. And they utilized the kitchen for all of their food. They used our buffet area, so they just brought in their crock pots and their cake, and it all worked out great.
So we recently had the chamber on, and I would really like to feature how they helped you guys because, you know, as business owners, we don't always know how to utilize their services. So let's talk about how the chamber did support getting the Brownstone going.
Definitely. So we became chamber members, I think 3 months ago already. So we became chamber members before we actually opened our doors, knowing that the chamber provides many great services. They helped us do our ribbon cutting. So our grand opening open house was June 11th this year, but our ribbon cutting with the chamber was June 13th. And so they came out, they presented us with our first dollar. We got the big scissors. We were able to cut the ribbon. And so they helped show that. They even live streamed it on social media. So they live streamed it on Facebook for us. So we were able to reach out to the community and reach out to our Facebook fan group to be able to show them that we were part of the chamber. They also provided us with the opportunity to do a radio segment. So we were able to do a short radio commercial, just letting everyone know about the Brownstone because it has changed names, it has changed ownership. So a lot of the folks who have been driving around the barn wondering what in the world's going on there were able to understand and find out the new name, find out the new owners, and get that information. They also allowed us a TV short spot as well, and they featured that on Facebook as well as the local TV stations. Also, they have the chamber and the other Topeka organizations have something called the Small Business Incentive Plan. And it's something that if you're starting a new business, they actually offer you help in starting it. So we were able to get some dollars for training, some dollars to repay some of the construction bills that we have, some of the equipment that we have. And that has truly been such a blessing for us because it is truly an investment. This is our time, money, life investment. And so being able to have the community and the chamber reach out and be able to help us was really, really something that we're thankful for.
And I know it is hard. Whenever I bought my business, I became a chamber member. It's about 3 years ago now, and we did get our first, $1 in the ribbon cutting and everything. But it is hard rebranding because there was someone that owned my company or used that name for over 20-some years. And it's really hard for people to disassociate that from me as I'm now the owner and they no longer are. They're actually their own entity now. Exactly. So Realty Executives Preferred Advisors is run completely different. We're a team, and I am the owner. So it's kind of fun to sometimes to have them to have the opportunity to explain that, but we are different. So I can totally understand how that can be.
Exactly. And we're just so thankful for their support in general, being able to support us with questions. I've called them a couple of times with questions. Also, just the information that they provide about other businesses in the chamber and being able to create connections with them and reach out to them during their events, just to talk to folks about our business center, talk to them about some of the struggles we're having as, starting a brand new business, as well as celebrate all of the success that's happening as well. So it's been really great to be able to reach out and connect in the community. I also have been participating in Forge, which is another leadership group or young professionals group in Topeka, and that has been such a blessing as well. It's been so much fun learning and meeting other young professionals, other folks in the community who are working through helping Topeka just grow and really instilling that Topeka is a place to not only work and live, but also to play and have fun and grow relationships with other people in the community. So, I mean, they're doing a phenomenal internship program this summer. They're doing phenomenal events, just helping out in the community. So that has been one thing that has not only helped the Brownstone business, but also me just personally being able to connect with other Topeka.
Absolutely. Really, I never had any idea how many wonderful things they do until we had them on the show. So hopefully, if you missed that show and you're a business owner, you're considering it, definitely go out to our Facebook page and listen to that segment because it really was very informative. And you can find that on Preferred Advisors team on Facebook, Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. And we record it there, or we place it there, and it's also on the Real Estate 101 Facebook page too. So if you should ever have any questions, definitely reach out to the chamber and utilize those services. I can imagine you guys are booking up super fast. What kind of availability do you guys still have?
Yeah, so we are pretty full on Saturdays by the end of this year. But we have quite a few Prime Friday spots available, as well as weekday spots for business events or for evening functions as well.
Tell them one more time where you're located, how to get a hold of you, all the great information that they need to find the Brownstone.
Of course. So the Brownstone is located at 4020 Northwest 25th Street in Topeka. Our phone number is 785-235-0057. Our website is thebrownstoneTopeka.com. And our email address is events@thebrownstoneTopeka.com.
And finding you on Facebook?
Yes, if you search for thebrownstoneTopeka.com, the Brownstone Topeka, we will be available.
And if you are looking to buy or sell, please give us a call at 785-213-5188. Again, you can check out our website. We have everything from just on this side of the Missouri border all the way out to western Kansas, just beyond Junction City, as far south as Emporia, a little bit further south than that, all the way up to Netawaka. So, again, our website features more listings than any website, including Zillow, and that is TopekaHomeAdvisors.com. You can email us at preferredadvisorsteam@gmail.com. Again, we're on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube. We put all of our shows on YouTube and we share those out. We do have a YouTube channel, but you can also find that on our Facebook page. We have all of the interviews that we've done and some podcasts that we've done with inspectors in all different avenues that any type of home ownership involves. And then we've also got all of our community places that you need to know about, like the Brownstone, the Chamber, the Helping Hands Humane Society, all those things that affect us here in the community. So we definitely take time to make sure that you know everything you need to know. And just in case you weren't aware, we do a giving back program for every sale and every buyer that we do. Every listing and buyer, we give back 5% of our commissions to a local charity of the seller or buyer's choice. So that's not just school districts. We also do anything that they are really passionate about. And we are one of the few that do that here in this local community. So we definitely want to be involved and help the community in any way we can. So if you would, give us a call, 785-213-5188. And again, get a hold of the Brownstone, 785-235-0057. Thanks for listening to Real Estate 101.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. Tune in again next Sunday at 11 o'clock for Real Estate 101.